Okay, excellent. I just want to offer a very deep felt thank you for having me today to the AHF Conference Planning Committee and to AHF in general. I'm here to speak with you today about something that I am very passionate about, which is hospitality, and in more detail, hospitality staffing. The purpose of my talk today is to walk you through why using a hospitality staffing focused company can really elevate your service. Now more than ever is a time to look at staffing and recruiting. They were the top two items, as well as trained staff, that you all identified in your What is Keeping You Up at Night survey that you took before conference. So I am here to shed a little bit more light on that and to help walk you through it. Over the last 20 to 25 years, there's been such a focus on food, organic food, where are we sourcing it from? Are our vendors doing better practices when we get the food? Culinary as food, as medicine. Again, I go back to saying that now is such a critical time to look at who is serving that food, that you all take the time to look at and modify menus and really seek the best. So let's get into it. We'll talk about it. What challenges do healthcare food service teams face in staffing today? We'll start there. Challenges in staffing today, staff shortages. Yesterday when I was at my trade show booth, I engaged with so many of you, and thank you for coming by and seeing me. I'm a first timer here, so it was great that so many people stopped by to speak with me. It's clear to me, I'm in staffing. There's staffing shortages, but we want to be a resource. We are engaging and recruiting individuals that have that hospitality heart. They focus on, how they're treating people and how they're making them feel. Another challenge is commodity-based staffing. I'm not looking to yuck anyone's yum. You may have a staffing company that is perfectly acceptable, and you enjoy having them. But the commodity-based staffing does have some downfalls, such as presenting more of an untrained workforce. The next slide speaks for itself. I mean, you all are living the staffing shortage, but here is a pretty detailed, specific statistic for you. You don't want to be forced into, despite having a staffing shortage, you don't want to be forced into a commodity-based approach to staffing. You don't want to have bodies, especially in healthcare. Again, going back to the two things that embody hospitality, how you treat people, how you make them feel. You don't want to have bodies and temps and labor showing up. You don't want to engage with a company that you're going to have no-show rates that are going to be so high. You're going to get unskilled workers, and you're going to have that constant turnover. And when you have that constant turnover, an untrained workforce, you're looking at, again, staff that lack that experience, that don't embody that hospitality purpose. You're going to have high turnover rates when you're really relying on a company to supply you with people. The high turnover rates just make your training more costly. And on-the-job training leads to delays, which are felt not only by you, our clients, but by your consumers, your patients, the visitors that come to see those patients. So how can a hospitality staffing company help to solve these problems? Working with a hospitality staffing company, you have benefits of fractional support, which we'll get into in a few minutes. Again, people-focused approach to staffing. I know that there is an awesome place for robotics, but in healthcare, I feel that you do want that one-to-one. You want someone to come in and smile and bring your tray and clear your tray. I just think that adds so much warmth when you're a patient in a hospital and you're not comfortable, you're not home. to have that type of person come into the room with, as Doug Johnson mentioned yesterday, a gift, the food, I think is just so important. There's a people-focused, again, approach to staffing. When you are working also with a hospitality-based staffing company, you do get an elevated internal management infrastructure, more attention, more learning about your location, what your needs are. One healthcare location can be completely different from another. So to know that you're going to have internally someone who's going to be listening to those specifics of what you need in service at your locations is, again, tremendously value added. So fractional support. This is something that's been coming up more and more. So with At Your Service, where I am the vice president, we rely heavily on this model. It is where our staff are working part-time in many different lines of business. Now, some people may say, well, Janine, we need a focus. We want healthcare-focused service staff. But what our team members learn by working at the executive dining room at JP Morgan Chase, or working an event at Howard University, working a large event at the Kennedy Center or Lincoln Center, they bring all of that hospitality knowledge from working those part-time events to you, to your location, to your clients, which you'll find, again, just adds more to that hospitality support. People-focused approach to staffing continued. We are hiring staff that we can really focus on meeting them in person, seeing the whites of their eyes, in-depth recruiting, interviewing. We offer an orientation process, so they learn the basics of service. Turnover rates tend to be lower in the hospitality staffing industry because we have more committed workers. The ones who are not committed tend to kind of filter themselves out, and the clients receive staff that are selected for them instead of the bodies, again, improving the quality of the staff that's provided. Going back to that additional management infrastructure, hospitality staffing is done with concern for the client's needs. So when we are speaking and engaging with our clients, again, we're taking the time, we're coming on site, we're seeing what you need from us as a resource. We are hearing the needs of the type of service that you need, again, for your consumers, for your patients. We really look to present those staff members in the hospitality staffing realm where you really don't have to retrain. You'll have a staff member come. Of course, they're going to need to know your location, but once they do, because this is their focus and this is someone who's dedicated to this side of the industry, they really learn and absorb your location and take everything that you need for them to know into consideration and apply it, and it's amazing. Call-outs can be reported and covered in real time. Again, when you're working with a hospitality staffing company, there's a lot more communication, a lot more attention to you, the client, to make sure that you are covered. So some of our takeaways. Many healthcare companies depend on staffing companies with commodity-based solutions. This leads to still, you're spinning your wheels, you're having staff shortages, quality issues, and a lack of support from the internal team. Partnering with a hospitality staffing company means your team will be supported by skilled managers. Your staff will be hand-selected based on quality and, again, the needs that you express to the management that you communicate with. And this is why it hits home for me. That's my mom. Her name is Dottie. She was One of 9, first girl born, 1966, 16 years old, had to drop out of college to help support the family. She went and worked at the nursing home that my grandmother worked in, and she started off as an orderly, eventually grew into a CNA, and is now ending her healthcare career as a patient transportation and appointment specialist at a rehab center. I hope it's come through that you can see hospitality is in my heart. Like I said, it's a purpose for me. How you treat people and how you make them feel is something that I really try to be conscious of every day, working or not working. We both, my mom and I, share a passion for helping others, as do all of us in the room. And I think that healthcare and hospitality staffing really do have a certain synergy that we can all come together. And if anyone has any questions, please let me know, and thank you for your time.